What is going on, guys? It's Crazy Pickle with another Skyforge tutorial. This time it's going to be Tol Monter's avatar. So we're going to start with the fight with Protheus, then it's gonna be the Khelp racing and the Naiad Guardian, and of course the last boss. Since the first boss you can kill it really fast, so I'm not gonna talk about that boss. Alright guys, let's get started. There are 6 Khelp hatching points around the arena. Protheus orders the sea to hatch Khelp to assist him. The Khelp are hatched very fast. These Khelps can be destroyed before they hatch with Protheus chain lightning. Periodically, Protheus summons water bubbles on a few random players. Just to avoid that, simply move on the left, right side, maybe a little bit at the back, just to not to get trapped. Next ability is chain lightning, and that ability has 2 levels. First is Protheus creates a chain lightning effect on a player who is the farthest from him. He usually does that between big phases. The second is when Protheus' health reaches less than 60%, he summons a huge thunderous chain lightning that applies to all players. And the last ability is Wave Maze. At 80%, 60% and 40% health, Protheus disarms all players and creates a maze of waves. During this time, Protheus is protected with a shield. You need to navigate this living maze, collect your weapon and break his shield to move on to the next phase of a battle. Next ability is Spheres of Wind and Thunder. Protheus chooses random 2 players who have their wind or thunder effect applied to them. This effect is followed by 2 vortexes, one of wind and one of thunder, which must be brought together to cancel out the vortexes. So, abilities are out of the way, let's talk about what you need to do. Assign one person with high survivability to focus on hatching points during the entire fight. That person will also use Battle Mount to move faster and locate growing eggs to bring first charge of chain lightning ability from Protheus. Sorry, but I don't have a footage of it. He will throw a spear, and if you stand just a bit behind the egg, it will destroy it and deal some damage to you. That's why the rest of the team should be up close to the boss. Note, during Wind and Thunder ability, if person who is assigned just for the eggs will have that mark, he will need to swap with the person who doesn't have that mark and swap back when Wind and Thunder is gone. Right from the beginning, you're going to use full buff, but without Lightbinder's ultimate ability. Save that for later. Usually if you have enough DPS power, you can drop boss's health lower than 80%, which will move to the next phase. If you don't have enough DPS to drop boss's health that low from first buff, avoid water bubbles drops from above and use secondary buff to get to the next phase. During this phase, just do your best to get to the boss and break his shield in time. Whoever couldn't make it, just stay with the biggest egg because Protheus will throw a spear after Wave Maze is over. After you broke his shield, do the same thing again, use buffs when ready, avoid water bubbles and keep an eye on Wind and Thunder. Note, 1 or 2 players need to have Metarchus' staff, usually Alchemist and someone else, and use staff only during Wind and Thunder ability. Now, drop boss's health to 60% or lower to move to the next wave phase. Do the same thing as you did for the first waves. After the second wave phase is over, Protheus will use second charge of chain lightning. Alchemist drops terminal first, use it right before boss start using his ability. Before terminal effect is over, use reflective barrier. Note, if you do have Alchemist with a demon weapon, you will need second Alchemist with a regular weapon in order to use protective terminal. Usually second Alchemist assigned to focus on eggs, but if you don't have a demon weapon, then use only one Alchemist. Use main buff again, keep an eye on Wind and Thunder, avoid water bubbles and do your best to bring boss's health to 40% or lower as fast as you can. Reaching 40% boss's health, Wave Maze will start again. Do the same thing as the previous waves, break his shield, protect yourself from chain lightning, wind and thunder, and avoid water bubbles. And the last push, where you're going to use full buff with Lightbinder's ultimate ability, because you need to drop his health from 40% to 10% to finish the fight and move to the Khelp racing. After defeating Protheus, Tol Monter arrives and assists Protheus to escape. Now players must follow them on top of a Khelp. There are 3 different Khelps, which all 3 mounts have 2 abilities, fast jump and a special ability. First Khelp special ability is Screaming ability. You do not receive any damage from colliding with eggs, so does the players who ride behind you. The second Khelp special ability is the Shield ability. This mount grants you and your whole team a huge shield for 10 seconds. And the third Khelp special ability is the Wall Bomb ability. This mount has a special ability that will allow you to explode any walls on your way. Note, ability Fast Jump will pop on the left side of your screen for specific spots to make a long distance jump. There are also a few places covered with the huge electric circles you will need to use Fast Jump to jump over and not get killed. The Naiad Guardian concentrates and throws out a powerful wave, which attacks in a single line of sight direction. Simply move to the left or the right side as fast as you can. The Naiad summons Bubbles. If it reaches the boss, buff that increases damage will be applied. Players can collect the special bubbles and receive the buff themselves instead. That's why the more people you have, the easiest it will be, but it's doable with 2 people, which is Tank and Alchemist. Before the fight with Tol Monter, assign players for a god phase and player who's going to use Trident. When fight started, bunch of ads will spawn. Kill ads and person who using Trident need to charge to collect spark particles from killed enemies. Tol Monter will also summon Kraken. You need to kill it as fast as you can. It gives more charge levels for Trident than the regular adds, and if you don't kill Kraken in time, he will create powerful wave explosions that will kill every player on the arena. Also pay attention when Tol Monter is about to use Ocean's Breath ability, as well as when he uses his tail to break random parts of the arena. When he uses water to flush all players and enemies out of the arena, you can hide from this effect under the well-timed ability from Trident's Bubble ability. The time water passed that spot where your team is standing, person who uses Trident needs to charge right away. When Trident is fully charged, ability to throw it will pop on the right side of your screen. Use it to stun Tol Monter. When you do that, 2 sparks will drop. Players who was assigned for it take sparks, and 1 go Alchemist and 2nd go either can go Elder God Mercy or Best DPS class if you're not an Elder God yet. On God's Army, Lightbinder uses Bless and Ulti, Soundwaver put all amps on Gods and use ultimate ability as well. Alchemist God using Biotrap, Shower, if you have a demon weapon use Terminal and then Stimulant Injection. Boss should be dead with one burst, if not, pick up Trident and repeat same thing as you did before the first God phase. Alright guys, this is it for this video. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button, don't forget to subscribe and activate notification that you won't miss new video I post. You can also follow me on Twitter and join my Discord server, links will be in the description. Until the next time, take care.
I'm tired.